What's up, everybody? It's GombaX. Welcome back to another traditional draft of Ravnica Allegiance. I have posted like 6 of these at this point, so hopefully I've drafted the format enough to actually get through the drafting process at a somewhat reasonable pace. That is one of the things I am worst at in Magic, is drafting quickly. Even though I love drafting, I love to deliberate as well. So this pack, I think it's a pretty easy Deputy of Detention. This card's insane. It deals with one of your opponent's threats until they can get a removal spell that they have to burn on your 1/3. So I think that it's quite a good card. And then these uncommons, none of them are super exciting. I think Clamor Shaman can be really good. As for the commons, Skitteriel can be a big boy. This is a removal spell, that's a removal spell. So those are the good commons, really. So yeah, I'm going to pick up the Deputy of Detention. I think that card is quite good. Now this pack, there's nothing for us in Azorius, which is kind of disappointing. There's a Sphinx of the Guild pack. I don't know if I like it a lot, because it's a lot of mana, but I do like the card. I feel like the Hexproof monocolor does get around a decent amount of stuff. Again, the only problem with it is that it is very expensive mana-wise. We could also just take an order just because it's a 2-drop, but that's the kind of card you want to fill in your curve later in the picks. Just a Thought Collapse if we just want to take a counter spell. I think I'm going to go with the Sphinx here. It's the strongest card, even if it is a lot of mana. So this pack, there's an Azorius Night Arbiter. I like this card a whole lot, and I think it's probably the pick. But I will go ahead and double check through the other cards here. There's definitely nothing else in Azorius. Both of these cards are basically useless. Persistent Petitioners I have seen be used once in a semi-mill deck, but even against that deck, which I did lose to, I didn't lose because they milled me. I lost to Flyers. So, I don't know. I don't think that this is... I don't think the mill deck is that great, and I don't even think that this is a great card in the mill deck. And then Cry the Carnarium seems sick, but again, we're starting off white-blue here, probably going to stick to it. Macabre Mockery is maybe okay, but again, doesn't go with our current picks, so we'll just pick up that Azorius Night Arbiter. This is another pack where it seems like we're getting somewhat cut on Azorius, but I think that Senate Courier and Forbidding Spirit are both pretty good. So Forbidding Spirit can help you survive early turns by forcing your opponent to basically not make as insane of a play as they were going to make. So if your opponent's like a really aggressive Rakdos deck and they're just swinging in with everything and dropping a dude every turn, once you play this, they have to choose between swinging with everything or dropping a dude. So it slows your opponent down a decent amount. So it is good to help you survive. It's also a 3/3 for 3, which is good stats. And then there's Senate Courier, which Senate Courier I've ended up liking a lot. 4 toughness is a lot, and if we randomly get high alerts, right now we've got 3 cards that would go well with high alert if we pick up the Senate Courier, and I also do like flying things a lot, so it's between the Spirit and the Courier. Spirit might be better, but I do like the Courier a lot. I guess we can probably pick up the Couriers later, whereas I don't know about the Spirit. No, I don't like cards that cost double mana early on unless they're like really, really good, like Deputy of Detention. Like this costs 2 specific colors of mana, white, blue, and 1. Whereas this costs white, white, and 1. Anything that has 2 colored mana symbols at an early mana cost, I'm just less inclined to take, because I find myself getting mana screwed and all that stuff a lot on Arena, so I'm just going to take the easier to cast card. If that makes any sense. This pack, there's another Sphinx of the Guild Pact, which might be the pick, because the only other card that I would be taking for Azorius is Prying Eyes. And then it's like we could splash in a Grasping Thrall or a Final Payment. Both of these are pretty good, but not like insanely good. I haven't really tried splashing that much yet, but again, I have found myself having mana issues with just 2 color decks. So I feel like I'm gonna really need a great reason to splash to start trying to do that. Ooh, I think it's a pretty easy Senate Griffin here. I like that card a lot. It's a 3/2 flyer, and it lets you scry 2 when it comes into play. The other cards that we could possibly use are Humongous to gum up the board or an Eyes Everywhere. Still haven't tried that card yet, but it looks definitely playable. Definitely good against non-blue decks. And then an Azorius Guildgate just to fix the mana, which is definitely the kind of card I do want to pick up later, hopefully. Here we have a Watchful Giant. I have liked that card a bit. Code of Constraint. I've seen a lot of people using this, and it has slowed me down a lot when it's been used against me, so that card might actually be okay. It's also a good combo if I end up getting Dovin's Acuity and stuff that cares about me casting instants in my main phase. This is one that I would be completely okay with doing that. There's also a Wall of Lost Thoughts. And I do like going for the silly decks, like the mill decks, so it's possible that I might just pick that and slam it in the sideboard. I don't know, I kind of tried the Code of Constraint out. I think that card seems fine. Prying Eyes or Screaming Shield. Screaming Shield, obviously a sick card for the mill deck and nothing else. I guess the main question here is, am I really excited to pick up a Prying Eyes here? And I don't think I'm that excited, because I've seen a lot of them running around, and I don't think I want to run more than like 2 of them because they are pretty expensive, so I could probably just pick these up later, whereas I'll just toss the Screaming Shield in the sideboard for the possible mill deck. See, like, here's another Prying Eyes. I'm just going to start taking mill cards and throwing them in the sideboard, and we can see what happens with those. Probably nothing. The other thing is both of these are also good if I draft High Alert, so they're good for both of the silly Azorius strategies. Exposed to Daylight, I've actually liked a lot as a sideboard card for sure, and I think in Best of 1 I would definitely main deck it. I've just been finding a lot of targets for it that I'm wanting to get rid of. Alright, all these cards are pointless. Last pick, Wall of Lost Thoughts. It did wheel. It did wheel. Maybe I toss the mill cards in now. I mean, that's 3 mill cards. We'll have to see. I'll probably just keep picking up mill cards later in the pack when there's nothing that great. I think this pick is almost definitely just Angel of Grace. It's a 5/4 flyer for 5. It doesn't need any other text, and that's the pick. But the other text is quite good. It also has flash, so it can come out of nowhere and kill whatever they attack with if it has less than 4 power. And when it enters the battlefield, damage will reduce your life total to less than 1, reduces it to 1 instead this turn. So it also saves you from a lethal attack, and you can spend 6 and exile it from your grave to make your life total 10 again. So it really sucks that we got it in a pack with both of these cards, because these are both really good cards. I think these are both pretty high picks, but I don't think we can justify taking either of them over Angel of Grace, so we take Angel of Grace and really hope one of these wheels, thanks to us picking up some Azorius cards and maybe cutting it a little bit from the bots. So yeah, really hope one of these wheels. If neither of them wheel, then maybe at least we can just get like a Thought Collapse for a counter spell. So here we have Law Mage's Binding, and I'm pretty sure that's what I'll take. Skatewing Spy, I have heard, is really good. It is like a slow 6 mana 4/5 flyer, which is big, but I already have some big flyers. So I don't think I need a slower one. Also another Persistent Petitioners that we can maybe get really late. So I'll just take Law Mage's Binding. And we'll see what we wheel out of that pack later. This pack, it's not super exciting. There are definitely good cards, but not really for our deck plan. We're kind of Azorius control blue-white flyers kind of thing right now. And these, like, Skitter Eel is a really good blue card in my opinion, but not really for this deck. It's kind of just the fatty on the ground, which is not exactly what we're looking for. But I might just take it anyway, because the other stuff we could take is like Humongulous, but we've already got 2 5-drops, and we'd hope to pick up another Azorius Night Arbiter or something over that. Could also just take Prying Eyes, but I think our mana curve has gotten pretty high, so I think maybe we even just want the Sage's Roast Savant to have a 2-drop. I think it's between these two for sure. I guess. Man, do I just want a 5/5 in this deck? I feel like I don't want that, but at the same time I feel like that's better than Sage's Roast Savant. Yeah, I'll just take the Skitter Eel. Here there is a Swirling Torrent, which is quite good, but pretty expensive. There's a Fairy Duelist, which kind of goes with what we're going for. And there's a Grasping Throll if we want to splash it in. Which Grasping Throll is the kind of card that this deck would want to splash, but again, not a really high impact, so I don't exactly want to splash it. I think I'll just take the Swirling Torrent here. This pack, there's a Chillbringer. It's going to be hard to justify taking anything else. Chillbringer is a very, very good common. There's also Thought Collapse that maybe we can will the Thought Collapse. I think that's all we really care about other than the Chillbringer in this pack. Maybe the Guild Gate, if I start picking up these random Grasp of Thralls I've seen everywhere. So there's a Thought Collapse, or Sphinx's Insight, or actually Sentinel's Mark. I do like Sentinel's Mark a lot. But I also have seen it go really late pick. I think I'm fine just taking the Sentinel's Mark and hopefully wheeling one of the other cards. Another Code of Constraint, maybe? Maybe Sphinx's Insight. I think I'll take the Sphinx's Insight this time. Thought Collapse, pretty easy pick. I guess we could take a Rally to Battle. I don't know about that card. I'm not too excited about those base stats there. Just take another counter, take another counter. See, now we just have 2 counters that randomly mill our opponent, and we've got these other mill cards to toss in there. Take a Petitioners, and maybe we end up with 4. I think I like Thought Collapse better than Petitioners, unless we can get 4 Petitioners, but I highly doubt we can, and even if we do, the odds of us drawing all 4 are not that high, so I'm going to take the Thought Collapse. We're going to toss it in the sideboard, though, because I don't think we want more than 2 if we're just playing a regular deck, so I'm just going to keep on the regular deck plan for now. Take the 6-drop at this point. Actually, I don't know which one. Watchful Giant or Prying Eyes. I like the Giant a lot. I haven't been that impressed with Prying Eyes, even though it does look pretty good at face value. Alright, we've just got quad Thought Collapse now. 5 Thought Collapse. I think we could definitely go all in on mill at this point if we really wanted to, but I think our deck looks so good without trying to do a cheeky strategy that it'll probably just be better if I don't. If I don't try to do that. So there's literally nothing in this pack that I want. I guess Arrester's Admonition? It's probably the best card for this deck. Kaya's Wrath is good, but that's really hard to splash in. We need double black. And then Quench, again, is a card I've very rarely been impressed by, but we also have like a million 3-drops, so I guess we just grab a Quench for the sideboard. Here we have a Pegasus or a Watchdog. Not very excited about this pack so far. Both of these first 2 picks here have not been exciting. There have been 2 Rhythm of the Wilds though, so whichever bot is playing Gruul has got to be pretty happy. I think I'll just take the Pegasus actually. I have counter spells and Sentinel's Mark and stuff to try to stop them from doing things to my cards. I don't think I need a Watchdog. This pack is where they just dumped all of the cards I wanted, which is rough because that means I'm only going to be able to get one of these because I get this one pick, and then on the other side of the board, there's probably like a million Azorius drafting bots just to take these cards from me. So this sucks. I mean, the pack's really good, but I have to pick between Windstorm Drake, which is a really good card. It's going to buff all my other flyers, which I do have a decent amount of. Sphinx of Nuprov, which is a really good threat on its own that's hard to deal with. Law Mage's Binding, which is a really good removal spell, and I am running a bit low. I only have one Law Mage's Binding and a couple counter spells. Or a Guild Gate to fix the mana, which I don't have any Guild Gates yet. And I have cards that require double colored mana at my 3 mana spot. I'm going to go ahead and count up how many flyers I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 flyers. This is a really hard pick. I think I'm going to take the Sphinx of Nuprov just because it fills in the curve better. Because I already have 3 cards at 5 mana, and I feel like a decent amount of my flyers, like the Angel of Grace, the Sphinxes, the Guild Pact, and sort of even the Chillbringer, are just good threats on their own. They don't need to get one more power. Yeah, I'll take the Sphinx of Nuprov. There's a Dovin's Acuity. It's that or like a Justicier's Portal. Because Justicier's Portal works well with Wall of Lost Thoughts. No, because Justicier's Portal, it basically untap one of your creatures, give that creature first strike till end of turn. And this card's a lot better than it looks because it's basically 2 cards in one. It's basically a split card. It's untap a creature, that creature gains first strike till end of turn. Or it's counter target removal spell. Both of those seem pretty good. But they're both kind of situational as well. I'm going to take Acuity, maybe? I mean, I have 1 instant that I'm playing in my main phase. 2. I have 2 instants I'm playing in my main phase because I didn't take that one that bounces a card, so I don't actually have a lot of stuff to trigger the Acuity, but I could take the Acuity and see if I start getting stuff that triggers it, then I am inclined to run it. But for now, I will toss it in the sideboard and see where these picks lead me. See, now there's just no instance in the pack, so that's rough. Guess I just take another Fish Crab. Here, once again, no instance in the pack. See, this is my problem with Dovin's Acuity. I think it's just way worse than Disinformation Campaign, because there were like always just a bunch of Surveil cards. Whereas in this set, I feel like there's nowhere near as many instants that you want to cast in your main phase. Or they're just high enough picks that they're never in the pack because everybody else has already taken them. I'm not going to play any of these cards, I don't think. They're just 3/2s and a card that shuffles in my grave. So I guess I'll take the one that's slightly better than a 3/2 that doesn't do anything. So there's another Petitioners or a Thought Collapse or a Wall of Lost Thoughts. We have 5 copies of Thought Collapse. I think we're good on that front, so I guess I'll just take a Wall. So I could have had 3 Petitioners, it looks like at this point. There's a High Alert. Do we actually just pivot into that? Well, it's not really a pivot, it's just basically looking at my card and seeing what all it makes better. It makes Concordia Pegasus better, it makes Sage of Servant worse. So let's just math up how much is getting added to my power and how much is getting removed. So we're at a +2, now we're at a 1. +4 total. +6 total. -1, so +5. -1, +4. +3. So that's a +7. -1 is +6. +3 is plus 9. So that's adding 9 total power amongst all my stuff, and there were multiple cards that are just getting 1 less power from me playing that. I do have double Wall of Lost Thoughts as well. I mean, I guess, like, I'm probably not playing any of these. Humongulous I'd be most likely to play, but I'm going to grab the High Alert, and we'll see about it later. There's just literally nothing I'm casting here, so let's pick up the Uncommon, even though the Uncommons are really bad. I'll pick up the Watchful Giant, goes well with the High Alert. Actually do need to put a couple more cards into this deck. Night of Sorrows, I don't think we're playing that. Pick up the Uncommon. Undercity Scavenger is easily the best card in this pack. This card has been very impressive. I think a 4-mana 5/5, even if you have to sack a creature, is quite good, and it also lets you scry. Clear the Mind, I guess. Yeah, whole lot of nothing here. Okay, so we need to toss 2 more cards in here. So, toss another Watchful Giant, toss in a Quench, toss in a bunch of Thought Collapses. Opens Acuity, we really didn't get the combos for... Yeah, we're kind of having to fill the deck out with some random stuff here. We've got 4 cards at 6 mana already. I probably don't want another giant. Might not even want the first one. Might want to lower this curve down. I guess I have 2 cards at 6 mana and 2 cards at 7 mana, but that's just as bad. It's 4 at 6, if not worse. So I guess I could throw in a Petitioners just as a 2-mana 1/3 blocker, because I do think I want something at 2 mana, and I like it a little better than the Wall. Maybe the Wall is just better. I guess if I am just starting to throw that stuff in, I could just throw in 2 more Walls and then put in the High Alert, because then I definitely have more stuff that benefits from High Alert than detracts from it. Yeah, we can do that, and then now I gotta cut 2 cards here. The Skitter Eels, maybe? The Skitter Eels is a really good card. It's just kind of weird in this deck. And I don't even know if it's bad in this deck. I just think it's weird in this deck. Maybe we just... I think we still just take the Walls out. Maybe just run it like this. Have 1 random High Alert in here that on average gives us more of a benefit than a downside. Could also just take the High Alert out, put in a 3rd counter. Yeah, that seems fine, because the counter I'll always be able to do something with. Alright, I think I'm going to run it like this. We ended up running the most sane, regular version of this deck possible this time, unlike my usual derpy shenanigans. But hopefully it works out, because this deck looks good. It's got some bomby stuff. It's got a lot of flying and some removal spells to try and make my flyers uncontested. Well, I guess not really removal spells. It's got 1 removal spell, triple counter, and a card that'll tap down a creature. Actually, 2 cards that'll tap down a creature if you count Chillbringer. I will keep this hand. I'm probably just going Island, Plains, Island, and then sitting here. So I'm not going to cast Deputy of Detention unless they have something scary I want to exile, or they're off to a really good start and I want to hold down the fort here. So I, like, could just be saving up a counter spell. Yeah, that's not that scary. Cost 4 mana to give it the plus. Yeah. I think I just hold down the counter spell this turn. Not gonna binding that guy. Blade Juggler? Yeah, I'll counter that. This is the best time to do that because it's on a turn where I'm not doing anything else. Every other turn I'll have like something to do. Like this turn I'm gonna cast Sphinx's Insight. Next turn I'm gonna cast Concordia Pegasus and Deputy of Detention maybe. Gutter Bones. Cool. And Blood Mist Infiltrator. Okay, we're off to a spooky start. I think I'm just gonna cast Concordia Pegasus, save up Thought Collapse or Sentinel's Mark. Don't really want to deputy any of these guys yet. I don't think. I mean, if I just went Concordia Pegasus Deputy of Detention, I'd be very safe. Because then I have two 1/3 blockers. Probably just exile the Infiltrator. Okay, so they're not gonna do anything there. I think. Gonna block the Blood Mist Infiltrator? And I don't even cast anything here? We'll just make the trade. Their field's just not scary. Because as soon as I get a Watchful Giant out, I don't, like, I've got dudes. Yeah, Thought Collapse it is. Dang, land would have been sick. Just Watchful Giant out on this field would be awesome. But I suppose instead I'll just drop a Griffin. I don't get to save anything up if I do that, but at the same time, Deputy of Detention just exiles like nothing and then dies. Chillbringer? I'll keep that. Not gonna block here. Undercity Scavenger. That part's good. Sick combo too. Yeah, just tap down the 5/5. They can get in there for 3 if they pump that. That's okay. And now we try to start swinging things into our favor with these flyers. If I get a land to just have a Watchful Giant for blocks here, then I'm in a really good spot. Ill-Gotten Inheritance is not that frightening. Oh yeah, let's do this. So obviously 3/6 is blocking the 5/5, the 1/1's blocking the 2/1. Deputy of Detention can even exile the Inheritance if I have to do that. I've taken 3 down to 9, so I'm basically at 5 life because that thing can drain me for 4. Orzhov Enforcer is fine, I'm just attacking in the air. So I think if I swing 6 this turn, and then... yeah, I think I'm going to Detention their Ill-Gotten Inheritance. That way, they're dead on board next turn. And then I save up Law Mage's Binding or Sentinel's Mark, depending on what happens. Alright, so you're dead on board next turn. Because you can't gain life anymore because your inheritance is gone. So I think that is a win. We're at 9. That's 3 damage, it's 1 damage, so I'll block the 5/5 with the 3/6, take 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, sick. I was considering Lob Mage's Binding, but I was pretty sure we'd win without it, and it would be nice to just not have shown them that. And it ended up going well, so I think I'm just going to run the same deck. Like, do I have anything that just like specifically hoses decks that are not their deck? Or something like that? Not really, I like all these cards. Could like throw in a Quench instead of like a Code of Constraint or something, but I think basically every card in here is just as effective either way around. Alright. So, we're just waiting them to sideboard, waiting for them to sideboard into their Gruul deck out of nowhere. Just to completely confuse us. I wonder if this Angel's going to do anything in Standard, or if it's already doing stuff in Standard. I don't know, because I've gotten 2 of this Flash Angel out of just random prizes, and now I got one in a draft, so I have 3 out of 4 for a playset of them, if it's a good card for Standard. But I don't know. As of the time of filming this, the Ravnica Allegiance standard format is still quite new. I'm filming basically like the day after release. Not pre-release, but release. Recording Pegasus is pretty good at stopping the Footlight Fiend. Footlight Fiend is like basically a 2-1 against the blocker. If they have another thing to do with damage, then I can go right ahead and use 2 cards to kill my 1 Pegasus. Okay, looks like they're just trying to spectacle something in. Drill bit. Alright, well, I don't really care whatever you hit here. I mean, drill bit is a good card, like, this was a good situation for them, because it's basically like a removal spell. They just use it on Sphinx's Insight. Maybe they've got a bunch of, what's that card called? The Spectacle 3 damage thing? Skewer the Critics. Maybe they got a bunch of Skewer the Critics and stuff like that. Scorch Mark for the Griffin, Skewer for the Chillbringer, and then they're like, well, that's all I need. Noxious Gruion, Death Touch Boy is here. It's time for Senate Griffin. Good thing that guy's on the ground. I mean, that lets me draw a card in addition to everything it does, so it's like basically getting scryed to the bottom, even if I keep it on top. And then if they play something scary and I get to tap it down, that's just straight value. I guess I already am tapping something down with Shieldbringer. That lets me tap 2 things down. Maybe I should have put that on the bottom. I do have good uses for my mana right now. Yeah, because if I put that on bottom, then the next card is obviously going to be... like, the only card that the next card could be that it wouldn't be better than just having Code of Constraint would be if the next card was my 7 mana flyer. Because if it was any land, then I could start casting my 6 drops. And if it was any other non-land, then it would cost 5 or less. So, I actually probably should have scryed that to the bottom. I just saw the draw a card text on it, and like cantrips, I'm just like, well, there's like no value loss in keeping it on top. But there actually is, because I have to spend the mana to get the draw out of this, which means I'm not getting the draw immediately, because I'm just playing Shieldbringer now. You already knew about the Shieldbringer. Don't know why they're acting so surprised. You knew your boy Shieldbringer was coming. Just gonna tap down the Grudian, I think. Spear Spewer hits us both. And very soon here I will have more life than them, so Spear Spewer is just gonna start hurting them more than me. Blade Brand on Spear Spear. Blade Brand seems pretty not great against me. I guess they have a Footlight Fiend. They might have multiple Footlight Fiends. Blade Brand is real good on Footlight. That's actually kind of a sick combo. It's also insane on Judith. They have one of her. So Deputy of Detention was my next card. And it looks like they just scoop. Yeah. I mean, they didn't have a lot of power on the board, so they weren't in a great spot. Of course, I didn't know what was in their hand. Maybe it was a bunch of completely useless cards. Was not expecting to slam Scoop there, though. But I'll take it. So that is 1 round 1. That was a confusing phrase. That is 1 round in which I was victorious in. That is what I'm saying. Not 1 as in the number 1 round, 1 as in the number 1. I just made it more confusing somehow. Alright, well that's the clear mulligan. I won a mulligan, but I think I gotta keep that. This is a slow hand, but it's got potential. We're playing against red, so that's already not a good start. They're either Gruul or Rakdos, both of which can have explosive, fast starts. Which is exactly what I don't want to see with a hand like this. Bunch of 4 mana cards, 5 mana cards. They are Rakdos, but they're slow Rakdos, nothing on turn 2. It's cool with me. We got a Chillbringer, so there's another 5 mana card. Hopefully draw a land by the time I hit turn 5. It would be really nice if I hit a land before I cast my 4-drop. Because if I don't hit a land by the time I cast my 4-drop, I might be inclined to just Sphinx's Insight. Because I do really want to make the 5 mana. I guess it just depends how scary their start becomes, and how good a 3-3 is at blocking it. Right now, a 3-3 is really good at blocking a 2-3. But I have to assume they're going to play something else. They do not play anything else. Well, that was a good draw. That gives me a better 4-drop. This both gets me something on the board and helps me hit my next land. Yeah, it doesn't block the 2-3, but that's a minor gripe here. Oh! I think I gotta keep that. I think I gotta keep that. As much as I want to hit a land, I mean, just dropping that out is probably just as impactful as being able to cast my 5 mana cards. They might not even attack with the Rebel Slinger here, that'd be nice. But they're Rakdos, so they're probably just trying to spectacle some stuff. It does have reach, so it can block the Griffin, and whatever they play next probably can't. So I could definitely see situations in which they would just not attack there. So they're just going to skewer the Griffin. And Rakdos Trumpeteer. Alright. So I'm only taking 3 on board here, so I'm even just Insight now. Oh my god. There's an argument for casting the eel, because then I just throw the eel in front of their 2-3, and I'm not really worried what they do. There's an argument for casting Insight to make sure I hit those lands that I will be desperately needing soon. And there's an argument in casting the Sphinx just because it's the biggest thing. But the argument against casting the Sphinx is if they just have another renewal, then... Like, if they have another Skewer the Critics, they can just spend 3 and kill it. So, I'm just gonna cast the eel, actually. The other thing is, if I cast the Sphinx, I'm probably not blocking. Because I could just have Blade Brand or the +1/+0 First Strike or something like that. So we're both somewhat mana screwed, which means this game's going to be kind of crazy. Because that means we both have a bunch of cards in our hands just sitting here waiting to do something crazy. That was a horrible draw. Alright. I don't think I'm gaining the life off this Insight. I think I'm just saving so I can adapt or Insight during their turn. Fortunately, probably not gaining the life. Pretty suspicious, I think. Well, I'm gonna make them have it. I'm gonna resolve that ability first. See if they do something now. Nope, alright. What do you got? Use your spell. You deck. Alright. Rest in peace, my fish crab friend. Okay, that was a good draw. Got a flippin' 5 mana. I'm gonna drop the 2/5 out because it blocks the 3/2 well, whereas the 3/3 does not, but Chillbringer would just tap the 3/3. So Chillbringer would be alright as well. 5 toughness is just better than 3 toughness, obviously. I think I'm much more blocking at this point than attacking. Noxious Rudian. Taking 1. I think I'm gonna actually just tap down the Death Touch guy. Swirling Torrent is gonna be incredible whenever I draw land for it. Alright, so this Night Arbiter is definitely putting in work because the Vigilance as well. And obviously can't be blocked, and it has Vigilance. I think the goal now is to keep the Night Arbiter on the board. Next turn, if I don't draw land, I might just cast the Sphinx of New Prob just to have another Vigilant threat. Something that can attack and block. Yeah, but then this Grudian's gonna start getting in there, which is unfortunate. Thought Collapse? Save up Thought Collapse or Sphinx's Insight instead. God, but their board is so large now. So they untap, they've got 2 Menace guys, so I'm taking 2 for sure. And then I block the 3-2 with the 2-5, block the 2-2 Death Touch with the Chillbringer. Yeah, their board's not actually that big. It's just a bunch of little guys. Okay, I'm just gonna cast the Sphinx now though. Expand this board. They have so many cards in their hand that I can use this counterspell pretty late. Because all of these are non-lands, we know that. I'll definitely be able to counter something. As long as I use this before they have 0 cards in hand. I'm gonna have to trade off 3/3 flyer for their Death Toucher, which is not good. They got the land, so they got the pumped mana, which is also just not good at all. Like, they get to kill my Sphinx of New Prov. And they get to kill both. No, they only get to kill one. But they get to kill the Sphinx. A block there. God, that sucks. Sucks a bunch of donkey butts. Swirling Torrent is going to be so nice. Could I receive a land? Or Clan Wrecker, 3/3 Menace. These Menace dudes are getting irritating. Ooh! That's pretty gas. I think I just go for it. Because worst case scenario, their stuff doesn't have haste. So even if they just skewer that guy immediately, that still stops a turn of their attacks. Down to 10. This is a very close game. As soon as I get my Swirling Torrent, man, it won't be close at all. It will just be destruction. They probably have Blade Brands. Blade Brand is just so good with, like, Menace and stuff. At the same time, I'm down to frickin' 10. What can I do here? The other thing is, like, if they don't have it, they would probably still make this attack, because I'd have to double block and lose my Deputy of Detention or my Sphinx of New Prov. Like, kill the big Menacer, let them get their little guys back. Trumpeteers have returned. Undercity Scavenger, probably sacking the Roustabout, actually. Yep. They're trying to set up their draw here, so it's going to be so good if I get a land. Oh, they didn't even scry anything to the top anyway, though, so their draw is probably not what they want. Man, come on. Literally the only thing I can cast is Sphinx's Insight or a counterspell, so like... Should I Sphinx's Insight now and go up to 12, or just do it during their turn, that way I have Thought Collapse up? I think I'm taking 5 from Undercity Scavenger. Oh my god, this is really bad. This is really bad. So, like, I can block... I basically just block Rubble Slinger with my 2/5. I take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 from their pump, so we just gotta hope that a counterspell gets there. Because I'm not just jump blocking the Undercity Scavenger. I really needed to be able to Swirling Torrent this turn to deal with the Scavenger, plus I guess just toss a Trumpeteer on top. Now's the moment of truth. Like, they have to choose if they're going to chump the Sphinx now or let it through and possibly die. Okay, so they're going to chump it. That makes me a lot happier. However, now I can't just kill them next turn if I get a land, which is actually a pretty big problem. Maybe I would have rather they had not blocked. So I could just Swirling Torrent them to death, but... oh boy, this is terrifying. Like, I guess I could Sphinx's Insight. It also helps make sure I hit a land next turn. I just don't think the 2-life is worth possibly just dying to something crazy. Like if they just play a gigantic riot creature or something. It's tremendously bad. Tremendously bad. If I double block, I lose my Sphinx. I just can't block. Down to 3. Down to 1 if they had pumped. How about Recluse? Yeah. I need to draw a land right now where I'm dead. They have another Bedeck Bedevil? Jesus. Son of a bitch, you have to be kidding me. That is absolutely ridiculous. And here's the lights. Okay, so like, sorry for the tilt there. We're trying to be less cursage. But, this is ridiculous. Alright. But take 4, go down to 1. They have to have something again. And like, now I have to just chump block a Scavenger, which is awful. Well, that sucked. That sucked a lot of bad things that I shouldn't say. That was ridiculous. I do not feel like we should have lost that game. That was pretty unlucky. Yeah, because the only other play would have been to not counter the Recluse, in which case we draw the 2, and then we just have to chump block Recluse and the 5/5. But then we would have gotten the Swirling Torrent, because we would have drawn the land, so we would have played land, Swirling Torrent in both their Menace guys, and then just end up chump blocking a 5/5 and a 6/5. And then we have nothing on board, and then they just start playing Menace guys again, and then we just lose that way. I guess we get a Watchful Giant, but I don't think Watchful Giant gets us there. We just needed to actually draw the land at a reasonable rate at all. That was pretty unfortunate. I don't think we're running anything differently, though. Like, there's an argument to just toss in a Quench instead of a Thought Collapse, but I don't know, that game seemed like an outlier because we were both kind of stuck on mana there. We were Rakdos though, so like Rakdos is kind of hard to be stuck on mana. Everything you have is 4 and less. But you know what I mean, like Quench would have been good at any point in that game because we both had like the minimum number of lands for our decks to operate. These are some rough draws, but I guess I'll keep at this point instead of mulling to 5. Voted on the classic never mull plan. They might have mulliganed game 1, I wasn't paying attention, but I think that I mulliganed both games. Now I'm drawing my 6 drops again, so get ready for the repeat. Yeah, so I guess last game my best plan, I think the biggest play last game that could have gone better is if I would have blocked with the 4-3 and the 2-5 on their 3-3 menace and just lost my 4-3 Flying Vigilance instead of giving them back their menace creatures. But then I would have been in for such a long game because then my only threat is 2 damage to them every turn off the Vigilance unblockable guy. But I do think that would have ended up better. I probably still would have lost, but I would have been in a better spot to last longer in that game. Just to survive. Well, I'm definitely losing this game. Or not. I mean, it's possible. Just have a lot of stuff I can't cast. They're off to a really fast start. I probably want to get rid of Grudian. I do think I just want to get the Death Eating out here. By the time they have anything big, I can just Swirling Torrent it, hopefully. Not going to attack, that way I can block the Menace guy. Like, this saves me 1 damage versus... Okay, well, now it doesn't. They actually just drew all their lands on Kurt. When does that ever happen? That moment when, because of the way the Shuffler's been going so far, I literally just did not consider it a possibility that they would draw a 4th land on turn 4. Conditioned by Magic Online, or Magic Arena. Hey, I got a 4th land on turn 4 too, woo! We get to cast cards. Still don't think I'm attacking. 1 damage to them is not a lot. When they have 2 Menace creatures out, I feel like just having this to be an additional blocker is a lot better, since I have to double block anything I'm blocking. I will trade my eel for your 3/3 Menace. Cool. I forgot that they had double rare removal. Well, things could be real good if I draw a land. Flashback to last game. Yeah, that's not a lot to hope on. That is not a good statement to be making. We've seen how that's gone before. Uh-huh. So they've had the Blade Brand, so... I mean, Blade Brand plus Menace is super lethal. This is the game plan. Game plan is to just not be able to block. Oh, program's freezing up. There we go, Jesus. There's not a lot to say here. I mean, we're just top decking and casting what we top deck. Sorry, there's going to be a bit of radio silence here while I just ponder my fate. Yep. That's pretty good. Yeah, this game's basically lost. I have to block here or they can kill me off the pump. Because literally the best thing I can do is Angel of Grace go to 1. Kill off their Burning Tree Vandal. If I Swirling Torrent them right now, then I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and die. So my only play is Angel of Grace go to 1. So Angel of Grace, block there, go to 1, then I can Swirling Torrent that, and then I can only block 1. They still have 2 creatures after that, so I just lose, but I guess I can show them the cool cards. This is still a losing play. Because, like, even if I just block that right now, I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, still just go to 1, except that time I don't have another blocker next turn. I mean, I guess I could, like, block the Recluse, and then next turn I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, So I can't even block the Recluse and then use the Exile ability from my graveyard to survive, because then they still just do that. Yeah, Swirling Torrent does not get there. They have 4 dudes, I have 1. I don't even have like a bunch of mana so I can Swirling Torrent my own Angel of Grace to play it again next turn and be cute. Yeah, I mean, I guess this is slightly more annoying to them. As if this would save me. Alright, well that was a depressing match. Some mulligans and some draws with cards that were so expensive that we could not cast them all game in the first game, and then until we were already dead, second game. That was pretty sad. Look, a hand with cards that don't cost 70 mana. I'll keep it. This hand's actually not very good, because I don't want to just drop Deputy on turn 3. I don't want to Sentinel's mark their creature. Magic Arena, what are you talking about? What are you doing? Say, I have the Drago control hand right now. Binding or a Thought Collapse. They're gonna hit me for a lot with this 1/1. This 1/1's probably gonna have done like 10 damage by the end of this game, because I am not casting anything. This is super adorable. Well, I need a land. I feel like I'm saying that a lot. At least they seem to need a land as well. So the awkward thing about the Thought Collapses is they actually help trigger the Terramander to make it cheaper to adapt, which is a problem. How badly do they need a land? Whatever. I don't have anything else to do. Let's make their Terramander cheaper. Oh, it just hit all their mana. That's what I'm talking about. Ooh, and now we got a 1/4 to block their 1/1. Come on, draw 4 mana card. They probably have had like a Law Mage's Bind like that all game. Okay, Slime Bind. Oh, just wait till I play my High Alert. That's gonna be hilarious. And your Slime Bind is useless, you fool. Classic draw-go matchup. I have to discard a card this turn. Like if I Sphinx's Insight now, even if I play a land, I still have to discard a card. I don't need the 2 life that much, so I'll just save up the counterspell. So I'm sorry, Watchful Giant. We have other better threats, known as Azorius Knight Arbiter and Angel of Grace. Probably just Law Mage's binding this guy at some point. They get to gain 2 life. I know my maximum hand size is less than this many cards, game. You do not need to inform me. See if they have a quench. They have a quench. Oh, Essence Capture. Okay, I was about to say, if they put a counter on that Terramander, that's so good for me. I just don't even have to worry about that guy. So it costs 1 less to do now, so it costs a blue and 6. Oh, they got their own Knight Arbiter? This is awkward. Probably end up finding their Arbiter. I could have also just passed there, that way I'm saving up Angel of Grace as well. But I think I'm okay just saving up the Counterspell and the Binding and the Sentinel's Mark. Just playing my littler stuff. Because I don't think I'm going to end up not playing one of those cards. Like, I think it's pretty likely I ended up playing... how big does that get? Depth 4. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna Deputy of Detention the Terramander. But yeah, I was pretty sure I was gonna end up using a Thought Collapse or a Law Mage's Binding here, so if I just didn't play the Pegasus so that I could play Angel of Grace, I would have ended up just not using that 2 mana at all. How likely is it for me to counter a spell this turn? Not super likely. I mainly just want to counter the Terramander's Adapt, which I'll just do by deputing, so... This turn we're just gonna... not save up mana. Get in for 1. Alright, so they probably bounce my Deputy or something. If all of their removal is enchantment-based, then Deputy of Detention is really good against their deck. And that is certainly my hope. Chillbringer. Tap down my Flyer? Yep. Cute. Alright, I'm just passing here. They probably have a counterspell, which is going to be real sad for my angel friend, but... if not, it's going to be so cool. I could also just save up a Thought Collapse for their main phase 2. And I think I need to try to kill the Chillbringer. If this doesn't resolve, I just block with the Courier. Wow. Literally the perfect counterspell. That's pretty nice. Still just blocking with the Courier. And I guess I do have High Alert, so it is possibly just worth holding out for that, but kind of forgot. Great.
You have been analyzing
Absolutely stunningly wonderful. Well, we're going to say goodbye to Dovin. That was a really clutch land draw. If it weren't for that, Dovin was just going to kill us. Opponent's just going to continue the streak of having the perfect answer.
I'm astonished that succeeded.
Even if I swung all three at Dovin, Dovin would still be alive because they block one, -2 one of them, and then Dovin goes to 1. Which Dovin went to 1 anyway, they decided to just stop the 1 damage to their face, so the exact same thing would have happened if I triple swung at Dovin. But it probably still would have been a little bit better to triple swing at Dovin, just for other cards. We are so dead right now, it's not even funny or enjoyable. It's mainly just irritating. I guess I'm just letting my life total go down really low and using this Angel of Grace later. Maybe I just move in onto the mill plan. Because I don't need to adapt to Skitter Eel, there's nothing happening on the ground. Maybe I actually do just adapt it to gain a bunch of life. Do I have enough mana to play that and mark? Yeah, I do. Alright, they're probably blocking this. So I just get to attack at Dovin every turn now with Skitter Eel, which is not worthless. Like, that actually just completely counteracts the token making that he's doing.
There is elegance in simplicity.
It's like, this should work out if they don't, like, Chillbringer Skitter Eel, which I have the one last counter spell for. They're down to 8 cards in their deck? Oh, is this happening? Is this happening? Guys, I think it's happening. Oh my god, I think it's happening. If they get rid of Skitter Eel, this is... nothing is happening anymore, but until then...
I stand on the shoulders of giants.
Until then, I can just keep attacking Dovin with Skitter Eel to get rid of their creatures to not die as fast. And hopefully die slow enough to mill them. Gateway Sneak is real good. Excuse me. It's got 10 lands. So there's only 7 left in there. Hopefully we draw some non-lands. That would be nice. About to take 7 in the sky this turn. And it would be so nice if they like hit me for the perfect amount to where I'd be at like 4 life, so they could first strike me for 3, then I use Angels of Grace, because that would be the absolute most value I could get out of it, but they're just going to hit me for 7 this turn, so I go to 2, so I can't hit like insane value here. I'm just not blocking, because regardless, I'm going to go back to 10. I could have blocked the 1 with my O3 and then went to 3 here, but then I still died to 3 for strike damage, so I'm still just using Angel of Grace during their end step. They're down to 4 cards. And I might be screwed because I've just drawn lands. So they're at 4 cards now, so they draw, then they're at 3 cards in library. I survive this turn, put them at 2 cards in library. Go back to my turn, put them at 1 card in library, and then they kill me. Well, that sucks. Definitely just blocking with the Savant here. This is a sad game to lose. It's so close. So I take 8, go to 2. I take 7, go to 3, or I block the 3/3, take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go to 5. Yeah, I take 5, go to 5, and then my outs are like a Chillbringer off the top. So I just like need to get a Chillbringer now.
What burns them heartens me.
It's not a Chillbringer. So I just take 5 this turn. That is like tremendously super lame. Nice auto tap. Might as well just tell them I don't have the counterspell arena. Thanks for that. I'm just going to use that now, that way their deck has 0 cards in it. So you can see how infuriating this is. I completely forgot I had 2 Sphinx of the Guild pack, so I had 2 flyers that would have just killed that at any point in the game, but I didn't draw them until I had 13 cards left in deck. Oh my god. Oh, and that was only game 1. I'm kind of out of it at this point. Kind of on tilt, so we're just going to go full mill. I do not even care. They're probably even sideboarding in the mill hate. But I do not care. I completely forgot that I didn't even have the high alert in the deck in some of those earlier games. Code of Constraint. Skittery will actually put in work. Let's take out a Watchful Giant. There's 43 cards in this deck. Take it a Savant. You know what? I'm so out at this point. I'm doing the 42 card special. Thanks, Arena. I was expecting to get a little mana screwed running 17 lands in a 42 card deck, but the no-lander is beautiful and I appreciate it. They tossed and cleared the mind. I literally wasn't even a mill deck. But the one petitioners, and they tossed and clear the mind. Well, that's unfortunate. I've lost this game. Unless I mill more clear the minds off this thought collapse. I do have 5 thought collapses, so I can just thought collapse their thingamajig. I'm just gonna aggressively mill this game. Send a message. Send a message. I don't even care anymore. I am so done with Magic today. That's a nasty sound. They're already at half their library, 20 cards left. We're halfway there. Alright, now is when they cast Clear the Mind because they know I don't have the counter up. Chillbringer? I don't have the mana for you. Maybe should have just kept it, but I feel like I'm pretty dead if I just draw Chillbringer into not a land. Then I just have 2 dead cards in my hand because I have Sphinx and Nuprov and Chillbringer just not doing anything. I do like my opponent just drawing cards there. See, because then I would have drawn Chillbringer into Sphinx of the Guild Pact. Things are pretty bad now, but they would have been really bad if that was my draw steps. Statistically, though, with the amount of lands left in my deck, it probably would have been like statistically fine to just leave Chillbringer on top. So they have like 1 million in here, right? They've got 1, 2, 3 in there, so it costs 3 less. So it costs a blue and 4, so it costs 5 total. And they've got a blue and 4, so I actually should have countered that, but I was not thinking. Blue and 4 makes that 5/5. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna die to that. I guess the other thing is I wanted to save Thought Collapse for stuff that I couldn't just remove later, but I don't survive a 5/5 flyer very long. See, it's all because I dropped off of the aggressive milling plan. That's the problem. I can Sentinel's Mark to basically stop 2 attacks from that, because then I gain 4 and I get to chump block. Probably, if I don't draw anything good, I'm Sentinel's Marking this turn. Yeah, that's not great. Let's gain life. they have a counter here, I would absolutely not counter this if I were my opponent, which it seems like they agree. Because it does not make it big enough to trade with the 5/5. It's basically just a fog. They're going to draw 3 cards? Yes, keep drawing cards. They're down to 13 and they're down to 12 in library. Hey, Sphinx of the Guild Pack's big enough to block the Terramander. I guess there's an argument for just not having Sentinels marked and just really been all in on Sphinx of the Guild Pack and then Sentinels marked with Sphinx. Top deck, Law Mage's Binding, please. Ooh, I got rid of their Sky Knight, and they're down to 9 cards. Look who's big enough to block Terramander. Look who's gonna get Law Mage's Binding. Sphinx of the Guild Pack, that's who. Did I really just side into the mill build and then end up not even milling them for the win? They're down to 11. Like, I'm probably losing this game, but... Shellbringer! Get out of here. At least it's not a Clear the Mind. I'll just keep playing flyers, it's cool. What is your hand? Like, got 9 lands? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14? I've seen 14 lands. There's no way your hand is that many lands in there. It's just a bunch of Chillbringers that I just died to a bunch of Chillbringers. That's super adorable. Yeah, Sphinx of New Prop isn't going to do anything on attacks. They have a million 3/3 flyers. That draw is bad. Wow. Wow. When you have a 42 card deck, it's very statistically unlikely to draw this many lands, but you still do. We've drawn more than half of our lands in less than half our deck. As you do. I'm gonna put them to no cards in deck the turn I die again. You're just gonna casually do that again. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Serena. Losing to a 0-card library twice in a row. This is just completely not my day. Well, thank you for watching the tiltiest Ravnica Allegiance draft I've ever done. I'll see you all again later for something. I really hope that they add one of the fun little random chaos formats again, because Ravnica Allegiance has been... I don't know. Ravnica Allegiance has been getting stale for me. Mainly just because I'm bad at it, if I'm being completely honest, but... I feel like every time I try to draft one of the silly archetypes and stuff, it doesn't do that great. And I love silly archetypes. I just feel like the Ravnica sets are like so cookie cutter. Just like draft your guild. Have fun. Play the guild. You ready to play against the same deck you played against a million times? I think Dominaria was very good at that. At just having all kinds of different decks and strategies to do. This was my biggest problem with Triple Ixalan, and then both of these Ravnica sets recently is like, you're just playing against the same deck every time. Not identical, but mostly. Well, thank you all for watching. Sorry that it's another salty special. But if you've been watching me for a while, I think you understand that. At this point, I do get kind of salty, and I'm trying to get better at it. And it still is the kind of stuff that I look back on it, and like, I'm kind of disappointed in myself for like being salty this way. Because I look back on it and I'm like, that's just not productive at all, and that's just kind of cringy. But it is so hard to like keep level-headed in the moment. I gotta like do some anchor management or some stuff. But it's not even that bad. It's not like I break anything, but I just get salty and I start playing worse. That is definitely probably one of my biggest flaws as a Magic player. But yeah, thank you for watching the salty special today. At least I have been getting a lot of rewards out of all these drafts. However, I do not have enough to do another Ravnica Allegiance draft tomorrow, so tomorrow will be Core Set 2019. Yeah, and then after that will be whatever the next thing pops up as ranked draft. And then there will probably be a little bit of a break, a little bit of a lull in the videos, because I will have enough gems to do one Core Set 2019 draft, and then if I do bad in that, then we'll just have to do a draft whenever I have enough gold for it. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching all of these drafts so much. I've been getting a lot more views than I expected, because every other video I've ever uploaded, like my FNM reports and stuff, had like maximum of like 10 views, and on these arena videos, some people, sometimes they're just showing up in droves and like got like 100 views and stuff, and so just wanted to say thank you to everybody for watching these videos. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed and stuck with it, or stuck with me for the time being. It's pretty cool. So yeah, thanks everyone, and I'll see you next time.